Welcome back to the FanSpeak Network. And today we're going to look ahead to week 10 and find the best sides and totals to bet right now. We are live. This show is brought to you by fanspeak.com. You're watching the FanSpeak YouTube network. Guys, head on over, give us the thumbs up, and of course, check out fanspeak.com for the best in daily fantasy information. Jamie, I talked to Tyler yesterday, so let's start with you. Tyler and I did the recap show, but what were your major takeaways from week 9 before we dive into finding some winners for week 10?
That's a good week. There's some good games. We had some winners in there, but obviously my Packers did not get it done. Unfortunately, did not look super great, but that's all right. Bye week's coming at a good time. Game last night was good. Chiefs, man, the offense started to get going a little bit. So yeah, it's a fun week, man. And most importantly, you got a dub last night in DFS. Won a couple thousand. It looked like playing a showdown. So. That's always good. Why don't you talk about that for a second?
Oh, yeah. I mean, that was pretty exciting. But, boy, you could see how those contests can go either way because if Xavier Worthy holds on to that pass at the beginning of the game, obviously him and lineup would have been worth so much more. So that's why you just keep plugging away at those things and you try and be process-oriented and not results-oriented. And I was happy that everything shook out my way last night. But, talk with Simon about it. The important thing is just that we're following a good process and do a good job of, I feel that, using the information that I get from you guys on the prop betting and using our betting information to create good game scripts. Tyler, what did you think of the game last night?
Yeah, it was a good game. It was a lot better than I thought. It wasn't as boring as I thought.
Yeah.
Tampa Bay was still able to move the ball. And, I mean, it looked like Mahomes' Achilles went, which would have just been the icing on the cake for this nightmare injury season from the NFL. And then somebody worked black magic on the sideline, and the man was completely fine and finished the game. I've never seen somebody get a non-contact injury, get helped off the field, and then walk back out there like nothing's wrong. So, first time I've ever seen that, but glad he wasn't really hurt because we need Mahomes in the game. I mean, Mahomes goes out there and he's out the rest of the season. We know Buffalo and Baltimore's on a crash course for the AFC Championship game, and there's nothing anyone can do about it.
Yeah, it'll be interesting as we preview Sunday Night Football. That might be the one team that could do something about it. Boy, Mahomes is like Wolverine. You remember when he sprained his ankle in that one playoffs, and then it was just everyone would downgraded him, and it was like a 4-point move in the spread, and then he just looked fine out there. So
one thing I do want to talk about spread, not even football related. Did any of you catch the Gonzaga Baylor game last night?
I did not.
Okay. Well, you guys got to go watch what happened at the end of the game. Absolutely hilarious. Gonzaga's up 40. Mark Few has this great idea. He's going to get his son some run. Puts him on the court. His son gets caught in a transition fast break under the hoop with a top 5 player in the country barreling down at the rim. I think you know what happens after that. Nuts in his face. He's on his back. The ball's getting dunked.
Oh man, I did see someone post about it, but I didn't see it. I gotta check it out then.
It is so bad.
Yeah, that's good. That's
all
good
right.
stuff.
Yeah, we'll have to check that out. But for now, Tyler, let's try and find some NFL winners, and let's start with the Thursday Night Football matchup. Now, Tyler, I actually wrote this game up yesterday, but I did not do projections, and I didn't do them until today. Now, yesterday I wrote up that I liked the Cincinnati Bengals. I thought that 6.5 points was too much. Well, it's 6 right now. And the last game that they played could have gone either way. If you remember right, the Bengals had driven down. They were in position to get a field goal, and the holder muffed the hold. McPherson misses. Ravens get the ball back. They get the win. Now I'm catching 6 points here in these division rivalries, right? So I'm all ready to pound the table for the Bengals. But Tyler, the projections have been pretty good this season. I got the Ravens winning by 9. Well, actually, I'll start with you, Jamie, because you were in projections as well. What do your projections say? and then we'll let Tyler break this one down. But boy, I really like the Bengals using my brain, but my little model told me to take the Ravens. What do you think?
Yeah, I kind of like Cincinnati here. I got Cincinnati about like 5.8. Here is what my numbers are showing. So there's a little bit of value on Cincinnati. I mean, Cincinnati's 7-1 of covering the 6.5. If we look at that for the last 8 games, obviously those trends you always got to be careful with because this is two different teams than they were in the past. Ravens didn't have Derrick Henry in the past as well. Higgins, who knows if he's going to play. Chase Brown looks really, really good though, man. I mean, he's much, much better than Zach Moss. I anticipate that he's going to get way more work going forward, especially in this game, including the passing game. So I'm with you. I like Cincinnati here. It does feel a little scary though after they just absolutely smoked Denver, man. They made that Denver D look really, really bad. So I'm with you though. I like Cincinnati. It feels like a team that's kind of starting to find their stride a little bit. It feels like we talk about this every single year around this time. Cincinnati starts to get hot. And as we'll talk about later, I like Joe Burrow here. I like Joe Burrow quite a bit, man. I think he's a legit quarterback. I think he's going to figure it out. So yeah, I like Cincinnati. Again, it would be nice, right, if it was 7.5, but the 6.5, and I think you just said it moved down to 6. Last I saw it was 6.5. But either way, it's not that big of a difference.
Yeah, I got it at 6 right now, but it's steamed towards the Ravens, where I got Ravens -6 and -113. So maybe it moves back to 6.5. High total here, Tyler, 53. How are you approaching this Thursday night showdown?
Got to get injury news first here because T. Higgins caught 2 touchdowns in that first Baltimore matchup. He might not be on the field in this matchup. They could be down an offensive tackle in Orlando Brown, who did not participate in practice today. There could be another guy that are down. Baltimore's defense isn't all that good, but if you're missing offensive lineman when you're already down your other tackle, that's just going to put pressure on Burrow. I don't trust their defense. They have a D tackle on this injury report, too, that left the game against the Raiders with an injury. That is a key piece because if we've seen when these defensive tackles are out, teams can run the ball down their throat. Now you're going to put Lamar and Derrick Henry on the other side. So I can't make a play until I know the injury report. If those guys are out, though, Baltimore names the score.
I know you have 1 on the injury report, but if I remember right, they were missing 3 to 4 in that last game.
There's Dante Smith, who's been on injured reserve since the beginning of the year.
Okay.
They lost Trent Brown earlier this year, and now Orlando Brown is on the injury report. So
who's the defensive tackle they're missing, though?
BJ Hill.
Dang it. He's the one that matters.
Yep.
Yeah. He right now, to me, he's their best defensive lineman.
Yeah.
Okay.
For sure.
Fair enough. So we will talk later this week. And of course, you guys can go over to fanspeak.com, find our treasure map. X marks the spot. If there's an X next to it, that means it's a bet that Tyler and I have made. And it sounds like for this one, Tyler, we're going to wait and find out the injury news. I'll be honest, Tyler, I'm a lot more concerned with the status of Hill than I am with Higgins. We saw the last week that Gesicki can jump in and kind of be that second option there for the Cincinnati offense. And Jamar Chase is so good. I think the Cincinnati offense will be okay without T. Higgins. But, boy, I really want Hill in there to stop that Ravens rushing attack. Ravens ranked number 1 in the league right now in rushing yards per game behind Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson. 191 rushing yards per game for the Baltimore Ravens, Tyler. I mean, those are 1980s numbers. In this new NFL, that's really hard to find. And so you got to give credit kind of to the Ravens for going old school and allowing the run there to get it going. Tyler, the first game was 41-38. Total is 53. Even without that news, do you want to get involved in the total right now? My projections have this game going over.
I kind of lean under.
Why is that?
Short week. There's some injuries on both sides. I could just see these division games. Like, don't get me wrong, they have shootouts here and there, just like they just talk about their 50-40 game or their 40-30 game.
41-38.
But they also have games where they score like 34 points combined, and it's just a slugfest. So I think you could see a slugfest on Thursday night.
Yeah, and in these primetime games, we usually like the unders more than the overs. If this was in the normal 10 a.m. for me, 1 p.m. for you time slot, Tyler, I would be much more inclined to take the over. Primetime seems to just like to press the totals by like 5-6 points. And Tyler, I kind of wonder, don't these primetime games seem more over officiated? And I'm not sure if it's just bias because when I'm watching on Sunday, right? I usually have one screen with just a game that I've chosen, and another screen with Red Zone. So my attention is bouncing all around.
Yeah.
But it feels like these Sunday night games, these crews just feel like, or the primetime games, they just feel like, oh, this is our time to shine. And it seems like flags galore, which
It's
is why.
so bad.
And to be fair, I don't think last night was that bad.
No, last night wasn't that bad, but there's been games where it's like, oh my God.
Yeah, some of them have been absolutely terrible, though, for the amount of flags that we've seen on the field. So maybe that's another thing pushing those unders, because we see those holding calls and you get to 1st and 20, 2nd and 20. Sometimes that's just like the automatic drive killer. So maybe another reason why primetime games go under is that those officials are more excited about being in primetime than the players are. All right, Tyler, we're going to wait for Jamie to reset his internet. But while we do that, we can queue up this game. And I don't think we're going to talk about it very much. Any interest in the New York Giants in Munich, Germany, taking on the Carolina Panthers? Total's 41.5. We kind of skip some of these lame games if we don't see an edge. And I don't know. I mean, let me see where I have my projections at here. Let me get this window out of the way. Where did I have this one at? I got this one right on the number here. I got it a small edge to the under, but for the most part, Tyler, I got it as a 5.1 for the Giants, and that's the line I see right now. Any reason to get involved in this game? Seems like a lot of factors we can't really quantify.
No, but if you force me to bet it, I'd probably just take the points with Carolina.
Really? I was thinking you would go the other way here. And why is that?
No, I hate the Giants. At least Carolina showed us some life last week. Carolina's probably getting their running back Brooks that they picked high in the draft. He could get some run here. And the Giants give up run yards, so that could be a way that they keep this game close.
Fair enough. All right, Jamie. We were talking a little bit about the Giants and the Panthers. Oh man, I think he froze again. Can we hear you, Jamie?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yep.
We can hear you. So just everyone, we're not too worried about the frozen picture. Go ahead and break this game down for us. I have the Giants winning by 5, so no edge for me.
Yeah, I'm the same way. No edge. This would just be a pass. Both teams suck, so I could see some points, but yeah, I have no interest on either side.
Yeah, not to mention the fact that they're both in Germany, I think makes the game harder to quantify. You got to see who's traveling when. Probably check out the history of both teams going overseas. Let me see. Maybe Dayball's done it before. Obviously, there's no way Canales has, so something more to factor in. But I'm fine staying away from that game. Tyler, I was disappointed the Buffalo Bills did not cover for me last weekend. And then also 2 teams that didn't cover for me because I took the Indianapolis Colts as well. So 2 of my losers staring right at me. Bills are laying 4 on the road. Total here is 46. I have this one projected as a 5.5 point Buffalo Bills win. I don't know if I want to get involved, though. The Colts seem so much better at home, and maybe that was stupid of me to take them on the road last week. I think that Flacco bounces back. He's been announced as a starter for the full season. I wonder if that helps him out. What are your thoughts here on the Bills and the Colts, Tyler?
Yeah, I mean, I think Buffalo beats up on the Colts here. I know the Colts looked a little better against the Vikings at home, but the Vikings' offensive line hasn't been the same since Darisaw went out. I know they traded for Robinson to replace him. Dude isn't going to step in and just fix what Darisaw was doing. Everyone will go, well, they had a top offensive line. What's one guy going to do to it? Go take Trent Williams off of San Francisco and tell me if that offensive line's good. Go take Armstead off of Miami and tell me if that offensive line's good. There's certain offensive linemen, when they're that good, they make all 4 of the other guys good because they work the entire unit. You take him off, their offensive line hasn't looked as good. The Colts were just blowing those guys apart and getting to Darnold. And Darnold can't play under pressure. I'm not sure them same guys are going to be able to bring Josh Allen down, and Josh Allen's going to run away from him. So I can see Josh Allen extending some plays, getting the ball downfield to these guys. They're not going to be able to cover Shakir, Cooper, Coleman, Kincaid. They're not going to be able to cover any of these guys in the Colts secondary. So I like Buffalo to name their score here.
One thing I want to point out, I think Coleman's out for this game.
It says right now questionable. He's scheduled to undergo an MRI on Monday.
Okay, so we'll get more news on that. But to be fair, I mean, does he even mean anything to this line at all?
No,
He's kind of had a disappointing rookie season. And I think that's why they made a move for Cooper, because they were hoping he could jump into that number one role. And maybe he eventually will. We've seen how Quentin Johnston's looked so much better in his second season in the NFL. However, to right now, to me, Coleman doesn't mean a lot. I just did want to point that out. Jamie, two teams that I got wrong last week, although to be fair, I think that I got the Colts more wrong. And I'll go ahead and talk about some of the mistakes I made. We pounded the table on this show for Joe Flacco to start and how poor Anthony Richardson was, especially some of the decision making. And I thought that Flacco really disappointed us last week for all the people that really championed him as the savior to this Colts team to turn them into a playoff contender. That had to be a tough loss for Indianapolis. And the way that Flacco performed, I don't know if the team has that same rah-rah attitude towards him. Now, Shane Steichen has committed to Flacco going the rest of the way forward, and maybe that's the right thing to do with a project quarterback. Let him make some mistakes in practice. Let him go ahead and learn to make those decisions and throw him out there next year rather than under the scrutiny of an NFL Sunday. However, right now, I'm not really sure what to make of this Colts team. However, I do know the Bills are one of the best teams in the NFL, and I know they failed to cover last week here, but my projections have the Bills by 5.5. To me right now, it's Bills or pass. What do you think? Am I underestimated Indy at home?
No, I think it's Bills or pass too, man. You're right. They looked bad, man. I mean, they had 0 trips into the red zone. Flacco just looked like a pumpkin back there. Like late in the game, that's when I was watching and I was really thinking like, this is when they could use Richardson because he got sacked like 3 times on that last possession of them trying to go. He's not mobile at all. And of course, he never really was mobile, but he's 40 years old. So that's like when Richardson, I felt like probably would have had an advantage for this team.
Those
Was
third
actually
and
being
twos?
mobile. Yeah, running, scrambling, getting a first down. He's just, I was really disappointed, man. Josh Downs didn't play well. Pittman didn't play well. I mean, Josh Downs kind of got there late, for people that were backing him. Because I know Meg also, I know she loves her, Josh Downs too. Once Flacco comes in, like we all do. And I was disappointed, man. I had Josh Downs all in showdown stuff too. The culture just seems like a mess right now, man. I like Shane Steichen as a coach. He just didn't look good. Colts just not a very good team. I think Buffalo is really good. I think they're starting to, get their stride back a little bit. They're starting to pass the ball more too. I think that, if Amari's able to come back and just open up, this team's going to be a juggernaut, I think, going forward. So I like Buffalo here. I can't take it. I do think we can see some points though, because I don't want to sit there and say, that just off of one game, what we thought about Flacco is just not necessarily true, right? Like I still think he could put up some points and get this offense moving the ball a little bit more, but it didn't look good last week. Minnesota's a tough defense, but I could see some points here, but I lean Buffalo with you.
Yeah, good point there. I do have the over. Jamie, I don't know what your numbers are at. I have it 48.5 on a 46.
Yep, I got mine about like 48.2, so I'm right there with you.
All right, maybe we'll make that one official. And of course, guys, check out fanspeak.com. When Tyler and I finalize those, Meg will tweet it out, and we'll continue to have a winning season. We won last year, and we're up this year so far, 19-14 on the year, up a couple units, and we're going to look to add that on because we're off to a big lead there, Tyler. We kind of been spinning our wheels there the last couple weeks, but I think we're going to get back on track this week. And one of the games that we are going to get back on track is a game that we've already played, Tyler, and we talked about this yesterday on the show. The Pittsburgh Steelers as an underdog. What a spot. We got Tomlin as the dog going against a rookie quarterback. I mean, it checks all the boxes for the trends that we love to exploit, Tyler. Tell everybody why we like the Pittsburgh Steelers to not only cover the 3-point spread, but maybe take the money line as well.
28-6 versus rookie quarterbacks. Washington's defense, even though you just traded for Marshawn Lattimore, they can't stop the run, and Najee Harris has been running like a bull the last couple of weeks. Good luck stopping that. Russell Wilson looks good through the air. Pickens has looked good, and they can't cover. I know they just got Lattimore, but let's see how that goes. Calvin Austin's been involved. They'll get Freiermuth involved. And they added Preston Smith to the defense. Jamie knows how good he is. Add that guy to the Steelers defense. This defense has just gotten better. They're bringing back pieces too. Sutton was suspended for the first half of the year. He's back this week. A couple guys coming back off IR this week. We give Lamar problems when we play Baltimore and he tries to run the ball. Yeah, good luck, Jaden. The other thing about Jaden Daniels too, he's a smaller guy. Like when it comes to weight, when it comes to these quarterbacks, we've already seen it once. on a big run. He took a hit. His ribs got banged up, and he went out the rest of the game. This could easily be a game. The Steeler physical defense gets to him, hits him a couple times, and he's out of the game. Getting 3 with the Steelers here, I think, is a gift. I think this line's wrong. They're coming off a bye. Washington's the bright new toy. Give me Pittsburgh all day here.
Jamie, Pittsburgh is 6-1 in their last 7 games against Washington. In those 7 games, though, the game went under 6 of the 7 times. I have this right on the number. I got it 45.5. So I don't have an edge there. But what are you thinking? Are you going to join us taking the Steelers against the Commanders?
Yeah, I love the Steelers here. Remember last week when we talked about Houston and Jets, and I saw how it felt trappy, and I was like, one of my buddies, who's the worst sports bet I've ever seen in my life, love him to death. He came to me, and was like, how are Houston just barely favored in this game? What's going on in this game? I said, Jets look trappy. Same guy said the same thing about Washington. He cannot understand how Washington is only a 3-point favorite in this game against Pittsburgh. And the crazy thing is Pittsburgh record's really good, right? It's not like it's not like they're a bad team. I just think the perception of Pittsburgh, right, is so much different than the perception of Washington. And like Tyler said, with the shiny new toy. I mean, Tyler said it perfect. Pittsburgh literally plays Lamar twice a year. Now you're getting a worse version of Lamar Jackson. And Jay Daniels is a great quarterback, right? So I don't want to diminish that by any stretch, but this to me is like a smash spot, man. I love Pittsburgh here. Tomlin against a rookie quarterback that he sees probably quite often, knows how he's going to play. I'm with you, man. Tomlin as a dog. Let's go. And just to kind of touch on the thing that Tyler said too about Preston Smith, I think that is a great fit for Pittsburgh. And I think that's one of those things that could actually be a net positive for both Green Bay and Pittsburgh, because with the new scheme with Jeff Hafley, Preston Smith does not play well. He plays much better in a 3-4 defense. He just wasn't a good fit. He was starting to get less snaps each week because he wasn't a good fit for this defense. So getting him to go to a team like Pittsburgh, I think is going to make that Pittsburgh pass rush honestly so much better. Who knows how much he'll play in this first week, but going forward, I still think that's very nice. But I'm with you guys, man. I love Pittsburgh here. As far as the total, I really wouldn't mess with it. I have it pretty close to where it's at. But Pittsburgh +3 is really nice.
And another guy we picked up, he might only last like 10 snaps because of his health, but Mike Williams is also going to be running routes for the Steelers.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Yep.
Can't hurt.
It definitely can't hurt.
Did you guys see the worst trade of them all today?
What is that?
Maybe it's Mingo or whatever his name is.
They traded a 4th round pick for Mingo.
Yeah, that's bad, man.
What are you doing?
That's bad.
What do you mean? That Mingo to Trey Lance to Mingo is going to be electric.
The Ravens just called the Rams and said, "What do you want for Tre'Davious White?" And the Rams said, "We'll give you Tre'Davious and our 7th round pick, and you just give us your 7th round pick." So Tre'Davious White's now a Raven.
Yep, I just saw that come through.
It's so weird how those corners fall off so fast, right?
Yeah, 100%.
I mean, 3 years ago, I was on these shows calling him the best cover corner in football.
Yep.
When he was in Buffalo.
Has he been the same ever since Gronk spiked his head into the ground, though?
That's true.
Is that what happened? I don't remember what.
Remember when the Buffalo player was laying on the ground and Gronk dove right into the back of his head?
Yeah, I remember that.
That was Tre'Davious White.
Yep.
Oh, okay. Well, thanks, Gronk, for ruining another cornerback. It's corner is the toughest position in football. It just feels like you can't have enough depth there with how many teams are 4 and 5 wide. Yeah.
100%. Yeah.
All right. Speaking of people's heads getting cracked, the New Orleans Saints are +3 at home against the Atlanta Falcons. And boy, Saints fans are not happy with Derek Carr. And as someone who really likes Derek Carr as a person, I hope he thinks about retirement pretty soon, because at this point, you got to worry about his safety and the safety of his family, the way those New Orleans fans are. They are not happy with him, and that can't go well. However, Tyler, yesterday we talked about the new coach bump. I think this guy might give it to you. Did you hear his speeches?
I haven't heard it yet, no.
Oh, this guy's like a WWE manager. I mean, I was getting fired up, dude. I might listen to it before I lift weights after the show. I mean, the guy got me fired up, dude. He looks like a mob boss. It's going to be a big change. Kind of reminds me of when the Raiders got Pierce and when the Raiders got. I mean, I know about interim coaches.
Does a mob boss type coach pair well with a God-driven quarterback like Derek Carr, though?
I don't know, but I think it could kind of take the focus from the rest of the team off hating their Christian quarterbacks. So.
All I'm going to say,
and to be fair, most of those mobsters do all go to church. I mean,
true.
The most famous scene in the whole deal happened at a baptism.
But what do they do when someone doesn't do what they want them to do, Spread? They end up in the river.
Yeah. And
Derek Carr might end up in the river.
Go back to Fresno and get coached football with his brother. The Saints the Falcons are -3 here. Tyler, this would be a smash spot, but boy, after I saw that coach yesterday, I said maybe that new coach bump really happens here. I don't want to get involved. Are you going to take the Falcons?
No, I lean Falcons, but yeah, new coach bump would be the way that keeps me off this game. I think Derek Carr 100% needs to get out of New Orleans, like you said, for his safety. I've seen a tweet the other day, Spread. Somebody added Michael Thomas. They were like, give me 10 grand, some designer clothes, and I swear to God, I'll do it.
Yeah.
So people in New Orleans are fed up with this man. So he has no fans backing him. The new coach bump is the only thing giving the Saints any life here.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
and I think we might see it for 1 week. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised to see the Saints get a money line win here and then just go back to being terrible for the rest of the season. Jamie, how are you? Oh, go ahead.
Worst tackling football team in the NFL. They just traded the only piece on defense that's good. Cam Jordan literally came out and said they sucked last week after the Carolina game. Even with the new coach bump, I think half these guys might be checked out.
It's just one of those things, though, when we talk about it, right? You're never as good as you are in your best game, and you're never as bad as you are in the worst game. So, but if anyone can challenge that, it's this version of the New Orleans Saints. Jamie, like I said, if they would have made the move here, I mean, Atlanta would be a smash spot, but I almost wonder if the line would be like 4.5. To be fair, though, I only have the Saints losing by 2.5 here, but I still wonder if those first two games are just kind of skewing my numbers.
Yeah.
I wonder if I reran them taking those two games out, if I'd have the Falcons by like 10, you know?
Yeah. I'm with you. I got the Falcons like a 4.1 here. But like you guys said, the new coach bump, I'm not going to take it. Atlanta too, man. Some weeks they look really good. Some weeks they look kind of rough. Kirk is starting to look much better as the season goes on, though. You know, he really is. He is looking good. They're getting Bijan the ball way more often in the pass game, which has been huge for this team. Their offense is good, man. I still don't trust their defense, but the Saints, who they have, man. You just lost Chris Olave. Like you said, there's mad turmoil in there. Michael Thomas went on that massive rant, and then you had Chris Olave's brother validating all of those things, basically like, yo, this is not worth it in New Orleans. So it's a disaster over there. The only way I would take it is because the new coach bump. But like I said, I do lean Atlanta. Atlanta's just a better football team here. But it's gonna be a pass for me, man. I don't want to get involved in a game like this.
Who's he gonna be throwing the ball to? Olave probably doesn't play. Bub Means hit the IR.
Mason Tipton
already out.
Mason Tipton. Oh, Alvin Kamara. Taysom Hill. It's
the guy in the front row they pull out of the stands and give him pads.
Yeah. You and me, right? It's not good, man. It's bad. It's a bad spot to be if you're a Saints fan right now, man. Especially after the first 2 weeks, right? Those first 2 weeks, Kubiak was, the best offensive coordinator in the league. This absolute guru.
Yeah, the hottest coordinator to hire.
Yeah, it was so good. See what his dad did, all this type of stuff, and now it's like this team's just an absolute dumpster fire, man. So, NFL hits you quick, man. Week to week.
My expectation here, and I don't know if we can't bet on this. I bet you this game has the lowest handle.
Yeah.
I bet you everyone's thinking like us.
I want no part of it,
but I don't want to go against the new coach, so I'll just pass.
Ain't nobody getting up at 9:30 a.m. to watch Carolina and the Giants play football. That is the lowest handle of the week.
That's true, man. I hate
I
these.
don't know, bro. Like, I'm not used to the daylight savings yet. I might be up that early.
That's true. I won't lie. Last week threw me off
on daylight savings week.
I
was up at like 5:30 last Sunday. I'm like, what the heck?
Yeah, that threw me off too.
They definitely need to coincide that with daylight savings. Like,
yeah, it makes sense.
All right. Tyler, the most disappointing bet I made last week that you refused to join me on, and you were absolutely 100%, 1000%, everything you could be right about the Denver Broncos. And Tyler, this is my biggest edge on the projections this week. I don't know if you looked, but I got the Broncos winning the Chiefs winning by 13. Which if you watch my projections, right? I mean, that's a pretty big edge. Usually I only get 1 or 2 points. So to have a 5-point edge at Broncos, you're going to love this as a Bo Nix. I only have them projected for 14.4 points against this top-notch Kansas City Chiefs defense. But as we saw last night, the Chiefs don't do good covering these spreads of a touchdown or more. Chiefs are pass for me, Tyler. What do we do?
I lean Denver, but I don't think I pull the trigger.
Really?
It's a lot of points. Just like you said, the Chiefs don't cover these spreads. It's a divisional game. Denver's beat them last year, and it could just be a weird matchup. Like everyone's like, oh, the Chiefs, look at their schedule. They could go undefeated. It's like they're going to lose one of these games you don't expect them to lose, and this could very well be it.
I mean, it was almost last night.
What happens if Denver, like we talked about Denver's defense being this godly unit. And how I talked about last week, they haven't played any good offenses. They finally played a good offense last week in Baltimore, and they got absolutely housed.
Yeah,
well,
but I mean, Kansas City's offense is nowhere near what
exactly
is.
They can put Surtain on DeAndre Hopkins. I think that pretty much neutralizes that.
Yeah.
Now you just got to worry about Kelsey in the run game, and I think it can stop the run game. So this could be a low-scoring slugfest of a game. I think it can keep it within 8.5.
Yeah, I got this. I got it at 41.5, and I'm seeing a 40.
But I'm not running to bet Bo Nix because I could see this defense just mauling him the entire game and then winning like 21-0.
Yeah. I mean, Kansas City, I can't believe Bolts didn't go for 2. I know we didn't talk about that. That was weird. Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Jamie, your thoughts here. Chiefs are laying 8. This is my biggest. It's one of the biggest edges I've had all year. A 5-point edge. What do you think, though?
Yeah, I mean, well, first off, what you said about them not going for 2 last night. I mean, as a guy that literally had teased Kansas City through everything, you know, I had Kansas City teased with Cincinnati, I had teased with Philadelphia. I'm so thankful that they did not go for. Yeah, but it was just absolutely moronic stuff. I mean, and they got what they deserved, honestly. You know, that you didn't get the ball and Mahomes drove down the game and beat you. So, but I'm with you. I mean, I can't see. Kansas City just doesn't cover these type of numbers, man. They don't. I actually like this under here. These are just 2 good defenses. It's probably going to be cold in Kansas City. Both of these games went under 40 last year. And if it's going to be under 40, that kind of makes me lean Denver a little bit, unless you think Denver just, I don't know, score 7 points, 10 points maybe, which is possible, I guess. But I just think that it's going to be probably a close game, a touchdown game, I should say, under the 41.5. I don't want part of either side too, because like I said, I can't trust Denver. And like Tyler said, man, everyone keeps looking at that schedule. Oh, it's going to be Buffalo or it's going to be nobody. That's not how the NFL works, man. You know, you're not going to play at the highest level every single week, and you're going to play against a divisional opponent like Denver or the Chargers or something like that, right? Or even the Raiders maybe at some point. We saw it last year too. It's like. Yeah. This is just how football works. It's never as easy as you think it is, and it's always those games that you overlook, and then you get bit in the ass. So I'm with you. I'm with Tyler. I should say I lean Denver, but I like the under here quite a bit. But it's gonna be a pass on the side for me. No interest, man.
All right. Yeah, I got this right on the number, but I can see why you like the under. 2 good defenses, and if Kansas City does shut down Denver, which is not that implausible, I mean, and we're going to get this into our quarterback rankings later, but I mean, besides Cortland Sutton, what is he really working with? You know, and we'll talk about Sunday Night Football, but we've seen how much CJ Stroud's production's dropped without his number 1 guy. Nix doesn't even have that to begin with, so I mean. Broncos scoring 3 points isn't that implausible, and then the under is an easy hit. So
yeah,
I wouldn't.
You know what? If you like that one, I would bet it now too. I think it's going to go down. I don't see any over money coming in on this game.
When the specials come out, I wouldn't hate betting on Denver to be the lowest scoring team of the week.
Yeah,
Yeah, there's only one team that I have projected lower, and we'll get to that.
You just got to
here.
kind of cross
Two
your
of them.
fingers that the Giants and Carolina don't get into just a 6-3 battle.
Yeah.
New England can put up some points.
New England, I have Denver at the lowest 14.4. I have New England at 14.8, Tyler, on my projections.
Tennessee's another one. We'll get to that.
I was gonna say Tennessee.
Oh, what do
yeah.
I have them at? I have them higher though. I have them at 15.6. All right. But Tyler, let's talk about a team whose back is against the wall. The San Francisco 49ers, man. And I was pounding the table. You know, they're going to the Super Bowl again. The team is too good. Shanahan, the defense, blah, 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 blah. They're not it right now. They are in a dogfight for their division. And with the strength of the NFC North, they might need to win the division in order to make the playoffs. This is a must-win game. However, they're coming off a bye. Shanahan's got extra time to prepare, and they're going against a beat-up team, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, on short rest. I mean, talk about a schedule advantage. I got 2 weeks. You got 6 days. It's kind of tough here.
This one's easy spread. You take 49ers. Kyle Shanahan off a bye has been very good.
Mm-hmm.
Tampa Bay's beat up. He's already had the game plan set for him for a week, and now he just adjusted it a little bit. His injuries came in last night. Short week for Bulls and them. All they're going to do is blitz. That's what they do. It's just going to leave openings for these guys downfield like Debo. Juwan Jennings is back. Purcell looks good. Kittle's going to be there. They should be able to move the ball on the ground with Mason and Garendo.
I think CMC could be back.
I think CMC might be back too.
CMC could be back, but I'm not like
they probably. I doubt he gets all.
Even
the,
if he
all
only plays 15 plays, that's a huge boost.
Yeah.
Just for what you have to account for with him in the backfield.
Yeah,
Because
true.
Tyler, you talked about
If
it before. Mason's fine running between the tackles, but he doesn't have that receiving
game-breaking ability.
Yeah, and you don't have to worry about him as much on those dump offs. Where with McCaffrey, if you don't shadow him properly, you can't just let him grab a dump off with space. So it changes the whole way the defense looks. Even if he doesn't put up huge stats for fantasy or DraftKings or whatever you say, he can have a huge impact on the game with a quiet box score. So, Jamie, Tyler likes the Niners here. I have them winning by 5.5. The Niners are past for me, though. I wonder how much this game is a letdown, too, for the Buccaneers going against the Super Bowl champs. They were pretty close, right? And
it went to overtime.
Yep.
Yeah. It seems like a nice spot here. And I think that Tyler and I both like the 49ers here. There's another one. And we just talked about betting that under right now. It's going to go down. I think this Niners spread is going to move, too. So that's why we do the show on Tuesday and why we like getting in these lines before the major market moves. I think this line can close at 6 or 6.5, and I think we should get in on the Niners right now. What do you think, though? Is there something we're overlooking here?
Absolutely not. Another foreshadow for best bet for me, San Francisco, man. I absolutely love them. I have a favorite over here by like 7.3 here. I think it's a smash spot. I like the over, honestly, too, because I think 49ers are going to hang 30 plus on them. And then Tampa Bay is just going to throw a lot towards the end, probably get a couple garbage time TDs in the game. But Tyler said it perfect, man. It's Shanahan off of a bye. Team is now getting healthy. CMC will probably be back in some capacity. Jennings is going to be back. Debo should be healthy enough to go. Kittle's going to be good enough to go. This team is just going to be firing on all cylinders, man. I love, and again, short week for Tampa Bay, and they went to overtime. To me, this is a clear spot for San Francisco. I love San Francisco. I love the over 48.5. But specifically, give me 49ers by 5.5. And you're right. I already took it. So I'm with you. And this Tampa Bay secondary is awful. It's awful, man. This got to be like one of the worst secondaries in the entire league. Like their corners are just absolutely trash.
The current version. This isn't the team. We can't blame the GM here, right?
Oh, no. But currently, as they stand, the people they're going to run out on the field, terrible. I love San Francisco.
I can't believe Kansas City didn't cover against these guys. All right, we already placed that one right now, and we think that one's going to move, and that's why we do the show on Tuesday and not Friday or Sunday morning. Tyler, the other team that's in contention for the lowest scoring team in the league is the New England Patriots. However, I think the advantage they have is maybe a little revolt going on in Chicago after all the controversy surrounding the defense this week. Eberflus is a defensive guy, and it's his defensive guys that have really been coming out against him. And maybe the accountability that he's trying to set there. And that's what's tough for some of these coaches. I think Patricia had this issue too. I think guys are willing to be. Belichick can be a hard ass. He's walking around with a bunch of rings on his fingers. When you haven't done anything in a league and you're trying to do that, whether or not it's right or wrong, because I'm old. I'm all for coaches providing some accountability, but sometimes there can be some pushback, especially when you haven't achieved a lot. So that could be an issue there for the Bears. That being said, it's really tough to get behind the Patriots right now. I have the Bears winning by 9 on a 6-point spread. So to me, it's Bears or pass, and I have this at about right at the number. I got a 38 something. So nothing on the total here. Okay. Let's keep it moving.
I don't want to bet either team. Chicago's in shambles. Should they win? Yes. New England's just been a thorn in a lot of people's sides. They could easily keep this close and sneak this game out of Chicago's actually got a lot of turmoil going on.
Yeah, I mean, that's we talk about the new coach bump, keeping everyone off Atlanta. I think the coaching turmoil or the mood in the locker room is going to keep people off Chicago. So it could be another game with a low handle. But Jamie, what do you think, man? Are we missing an opportunity to fade one of the worst teams in the league, the New England Patriots?
No, this is a pass, man. I like the under. This is another spot I like the under in. Chicago's defense is legit.
No over money's coming in.
Yeah, 100%, man.
Now. Yeah.
Chicago's defense legit. Chicago's offense inefficient. Turmoil in that team. It's a disaster. It's going to be just a low-scoring game. So, yeah, nothing else to add here.
I mean, to be fair, if you're a team going through turmoil and it's on the defensive side of the ball, this is the good offense to try and get right against, right? Get some of those good vibes.
True.
Maybe you hold them to only 10 points, and now everybody's feeling good there. And the Bears aren't out of it yet, man. And this is an important week for them.
Yeah.
Because as bad as they looked against Arizona last weekend, they're still 4-4, right? I mean,
are they? Yeah, 4-4. Yeah, because they had a bye.
Right? So they're still live. They still got a chance at that wild card spot. And Caleb's been up and down this year, and you got to think that he's going to look to get back on track against the Patriots defense. It's been kind of shaky. So, great opportunity for the Bears to get back on track. But boy, I would not want to be in that locker room if they somehow manage to lose this game.
Yeah.
I mean, Eberflus could be out the door if that's the case. And we've already talked about how much the Bears screwed up. They should have switched over the coaching staff, because I feel bad for Caleb. We talk about how some of these young quarterbacks get issues, and I think flipping through offensive coordinators is one of them. Mm-hmm. And they're going to have to do that because they got the wrong guy.
100%. Offense coordinator, head coach is a disaster over there, man.
It's all wrong.
It's all wrong. It's all wrong. It's terrible.
I think
as a Packer fan, I love it, but
I think Eberflus is like Dennis Allen. I think he's going to be a great defensive coordinator after he gets fired this year, and he's going to be really good.
Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with that. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that either. But
I wouldn't mind being a defensive coordinator and make $3 million a year. You don't have to answer your questions.
Yeah, 100%.
If I would have known this, I would have. I would have been trying to be an assistant football coach starting in high school. You get $4 million a year to call plays, and you don't have to answer any of the questions.
Yeah, exactly. Sign me up.
Yeah. All right, let's move to the afternoon slate, Tyler. Only 3 games. Only 3 games.
Did this again this week.
Yeah, I kind of hate this. Although there's one game that as the Aaron Rodgers hater, right? There'd be one game.
You missed a game on the 1 o'clock slate.
What did I miss?
Jacksonville and
Minnesota.
Oh, I did. I'm sorry. Okay. Thoughts?
Minnesota.
Obviously, I didn't a lot on that game.
I mean, if Dougie Peterson couldn't get fired last week because Philly just didn't want to put him in the dirt and they let him keep it close, I don't think Flores' defense is going to let him keep it close. That pick at the end of the game was ugly. I think they blitz the hell out of Lawrence. They make him pressured. I think he throws a couple picks in this game, and I think Minnesota just kind of beats up on their defense. Wasn't last week. It'll be this week. Dougie Peterson's gone.
Do you like laying points on the road in this one, Jamie?
It's tough, man, because this feels kind of trappy, doesn't it? I don't know. It feels like the Vikings probably should be favored by a little more. I don't know. Jacksonville's just so bad. I think so.
I don't like laying 4 on the road, especially in a non-conference game.
Yeah. I mean, you're right. And it honestly feels kind of similar to Jacksonville, Green Bay, right? When Jacksonville was in
and they covered
and they
late it. Yeah.
Yeah. And they covered it late. But Minnesota is just such a better team.
That game if Jordan Love didn't go out though.
Probably not. Yeah, probably not. I mean, Malik did play well, but you're right. Probably not. And it was some garbage time stuff too, which you just never know. Jacksonville's just bad, man. They're selling their team. They got rid of their best offensive lineman. The whole team is hurt. The team is falling apart, man. I'm going to stay away, but I would lean Minnesota. It does feel a little weird, but it's gonna be a pass for me.
Yeah, Jaguars are one of the worst teams in the league. No wonder I skipped that game, Tyler. The Tennessee Titans are plus 7.5 in Los Angeles, taking on the Chargers. Total's 37.5. Oh man, Tyler, talk about two teams heading in opposite directions. Chargers are well coached. We talked about it yesterday. They're getting healthy at the right time. We've never seen a healthy version of the Chargers since Schottenheimer went 14-2 way back when I was young and cool. Do we lay it though? 7.5 is a lot. I mean, what did they lose by last week though? I mean, Titans might be the worst team in the league right now.
Titans are terrible. I mean, their defense is decent. They have some pieces on there. They're able to slow down some teams. They could slow down the Chargers team. You said what?
The defense gets tired. They have to stay on the field for like
40 minutes a game. They definitely get tired because they have no
burn out.
They're good for the first little bit of the game, and then they start to give up points.
Yep.
I mean, I wish the Titans team total was a little higher. It's at 14.5. I can't bet the under there.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, Chargers probably name their score. I don't want to lay 7.5 though. I'd probably tease this one down to 1.5. Get it under a field goal.
Jamie, I got the Chargers by 9. The Chargers are pass for me, but I don't know. I almost want to bet it.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. I lean where Tyler says too. I kind of like the T spot. It's hard for me to see Titans win this game, dude. They're just so bad in the second half of games. Like Tyler said, they start off pretty decent, and then the second half, just every single week, man. It's just like they did against Buffalo. They did it last week against the Patriots. It's every single week. I kind of like the under here, to be honest. I just think both these teams play pretty slow. I think Chargers are going to have no issue with just kind of running the rocks out throughout the course of the game. So, and two top 10 defenses really from EPA standpoint. So give me the under here, but yeah, I would stay away, but I do like the tease down for Chargers.
All right, let's keep it moving. Tyler, I'm going to have you break this game down. Too much coffee this morning. Got to take a quick break, but the Eagles are -7 in Dallas taking on the Cowboys. And new wide receiver. I don't even know how to say his first name, but his last name's Mingo. And I drafted him a lot in best ball last year. And he scored like 1 point for the whole season. Tyler, break down the Eagles and the Cowboys.
You're muted.
That's no good. But if I'm not mistaken, you say his first name is Jonathan?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. I was like, am I missing something here, man?
Yeah, like, did the dude change his name or something? I swore it was Jonathan Mingo.
I was afraid to even say his name. I was like, okay, did I get something mixed up here, dude? I don't know.
But as for this game, I mean, Dallas, no Dak. He's hitting the IR. CD Lamb's going to miss this game. Even with Michael Parsons back, they are going to be terrible out there.
Yeah.
I don't want to lay 7 with the Eagles, but we need somebody to pair with the Chargers now.
Yeah.
And here they are.
Yep.
So there's my teaser of the week. Tease the Chargers down to 1.5. Tease the Eagles down to 1. They both win the games. Is it going to be Trey Lance that played? Was he the one that stepped in for Dak last week?
It was Cooper Rush.
Yeah, I could see Cooper Rush playing more, which lets him still throw the ball, but I don't think he could beat this Philly defense. Even with how bad it's been, give me Philly here.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm with you. I love the T spot. It's hard for me to see Philly lose. Although, like we say every single week, Nick Sirianni is just a complete donkey, man. He just is a terrible head coach. They should have blew out Jacksonville last week. They made it get close, which is always a little nerve-wracking. Do we know if A.J. Brown – I know they said day-to-day. I guess we're going to have to see if he's practicing throughout the week.
Let me see.
Who are we trying to figure out?
A.J. Brown.
It still says day-to-day. It has no report for today.
Yeah, okay. So that'll be a big one. But either way, man, this Dallas team is just so banged up. I'm with you. I like the T spot. It's hard for me to lay the 7.5 on Philly outright just because it is Philly and Nick Sirianni is the head coach. But I do love that T spot.
Doesn't it seem like an NFL game that just doesn't make any sense?
Yeah.
Right? I almost want to bet the Cowboys because that's just how the NFL works, right? The second you count a team out, especially in a division game, the way the Browns did the Ravens, and it's just like, one team is so much better than the other.
But the Browns had the thing with Deshaun Watson where nobody wanted to watch him play anyway. Then Winston comes in, all the players get a bump. I don't think the players are getting a bump knowing CeeDee's out and Dak's hitting the IR.
And Cooper Rush is coming into
like
the football.
They're not
Jonathan Mingo
for Cooper Rush to take over for Dak spread.
Yeah.
Fair enough. It just seems my main reason for betting the Cowboys is nothing, nothing's ever this easy in the NFL.
Yeah.
You talk about trap, and I can't even articulate why. It just my main reason is there's no reason to bet Dallas. So
the gut feel. I feel it.
It's not even gut feel. It's just knowing that
NFL is random.
Easy. Yeah. And this is a pro team. It's not like Florida playing Texas or whatever. One team is so much better than the other.
Yeah.
All right. The game that I'm really looking forward to, Tyler. Can I continue to hate on the New York Jets when they travel to Arizona to take on Kyler Murray and the Cardinals? Tyler, this Cardinals defense has sneakily been pretty good under head coach Jonathan Gannon, and the Cardinals got a pretty easy win over the Bears last week. I've been down on Kyler in the past here, but you got to give him credit. He's feeding Trey McBride. The run game looks great. I've talked crap about James Conner too. That's coming back to bite me. I definitely need to upgrade him in my rankings, and he's looking like a best ball steal. With where he was drafted, because he probably should have been 2 to 3 rounds higher with the effort that he's given so far. Jets coming off that big win. They do have extra rest. Maybe they get a chance, find some chemistry with the extra practice time they get under their new head coach. And, everyone's told me that I've kind of underestimated the Jets. And you told me yesterday, hey, they're not as bad as you said they were. So I'm going to defer to you on this game, Tyler. Whatever you say, I will bet. But I want the Cardinals so bad. Come on, Tyler.
You tried to talk yourself into it in the beginning of the breakdown, and then the smart side of spread came out and said, you know what? I'm going to shut up and let you guys break this game down because the Jets are going to win this game. The Cardinals are so hit or miss this year, and the games they do look like juggernauts are against the Rams, whose defense didn't show up that day, and the Bears, who are in absolute turmoil this week, and we don't even want to bet them against the Patriots. So we're going to give the Cardinals a trophy for beating the beating the Bears last week when we don't even want to bet them against the Patriots this week. No, that win means nothing. This Jets team knows they still have a shot at the playoffs. Much better weapons. I know Kyler's got the ability to run and James Conner can run the ball, but I think the Jets can put more points on the board, and I trust their defense more here. Give me the Jets.
Jamie, things I hate to hear just came out of Tyler's mouth. Can you bring me back? Can you give me a reason for hope that my Sunday afternoon is going to be okay? Because let's be honest, the first 2 games probably going to suck.
Yeah.
I mean, we haven't got a good reason for the Cowboys. And that game could be 42-10. The Chargers could win 21-3. This is the only hope we have for an entertaining afternoon, Jamie. What do you think? Cardinals or Jets? Who do you got?
I like the Jets, man. The offense looks really good in the second half, man. And look, in reality, they added Devontae Adams, they got Garrett Wilson, and they finally looked pretty good. You still got Breece Hall. And Rodgers played really, really well that second half, man. And that's just the reality. He looked good. And maybe it's thing with Kirk Cousins where he's going to start to look better as the season goes on. He has weapons. They looked good, and I don't think this Arizona team is all that great, man. I think they're very flippy floppy. I think they beat up on some bad teams. Who maybe the Jets are a bad team too, right? But I just think the Jets offense is going to have a lot of success here. I think they're going to keep it rolling. The Jets team isn't going away, man. And I know we kind of want them to. They're just not going to. I think they found a stride here a little bit. So yeah, I like the Jets. I think they win here, possibly by a touchdown.
This is terrible. What terrible news. All right. Well, I'm rooting for Kyler to get it done.
This is one of those spots where like spread picks a team and just plants his feet, and he's like, I will never, ever, ever bet this team, and I will bet against them every time, regardless of what's on the screen.
Yeah.
And it's the Jets this year. Like next week, I don't know who the Jets play, but you'll hear him on this show being like, well, Team A can run the ball pretty well. Their quarterback's doing good. Their coach is all right. So maybe we think they could beat the Jets.
Tyler knows me so well.
Well-
Jets are gonna be a favor here. Their schedule gets a little easier. I can't remember who they play, but I can't remember. All
I'm gonna look it
right.
up. See who I got to argue against next week when the Jets match up with them. The
Yeah,
Colts.
yeah,
Spread will be like, well, Flacco might be able to move the ball.
Flacco revenge game? Oh, I'm
Yeah,
all in.
Anyways, this just gets me excited for the quarterback rankings because I'm very curious to see where Aaron Rodgers got to be 25 to 32 for spread. He's got to be back there. We'll see. That's my guess.
You'll be surprised at my ranking for him.
Oh well,
We did it yesterday. I think Tyler has them lower than me.
really? Wow, this is good. This is going to get interesting. I mean, just to preface a little bit, doing this practice made me empathize with you and your rankings that you shared from last year so much more because this is hard. There's no doubt about
I
it.
feel like
Once
number
you get
6
past
is
the
like,
top 4,
Yes.
it gets difficult.
It gets difficult because you also don't want to do something that spread did, where like you bail on Jordan Love after 9 games or whatever it was, and then like he's the worst quarterback in the league. And there's some
I
quarterbacks.
felt pretty smart watching the game last week. Tell you that much.
Oh, he's injured, man. We'll see. It's
like
gonna
I
be fun.
said to Tyler, does that injury hurt his brain?
No, but you know too. I've said
That
on
was
here.
my best joke yesterday, and nobody laughed at it. I said, I didn't know an injured groin, your groin affected your thoughts unless you're at the club at 2 a.m, and I got crickets on that one.
That is a good one. I've said before, man. He gives me Brett Favre PTSD. Trust me, I'm well aware. We've been spoiled with Aaron Rodgers for too long that people forget sometimes. The Packers also had Brett Favre at quarterback too, but we'll get to that one in a second.
Yeah, and to be fair, that was a different time. Like efficient, it's almost like in basketball when they talk about Kobe's efficiency. It's like efficiency didn't matter back then.
Yeah,
He's
You
chucking
know what
it
I'm
up.
saying? Like it wasn't something that they cared about. Now these guys are more worried about it, and I feel like the turnover to the TD to interception ratio. We didn't talk about it in the 90s like that.
No.
We wanted you to push the ball down the field, results be damned, and a lot of times it's like, well, that's just an arm punt. You know, you throw a 40-yard interception on 3rd down. Who cares?
Yeah,
You're going to punt anyways. It's not that big a deal.
Yeah.
All right. Let's talk about this. Is a great Sunday night game. This is a great Sunday night game. The Detroit Lions coming off that impressive win over the Green Bay Packers. They sent the Packers into the bye at the right time, and they lined up and they show, hey, I'm going to have fun with Jamie this rest of the season making fun of the Packers, but that's a good defense that they ran the ball against. Yeah. And they really solidified that they are the best offensive line in the league, and it's just a quality win. Now they're going to face the Houston Texans team that's had 10 days to stew on that tough loss and could potentially be returning Nico Collins to the lineup. Tyler, I hate to say it. I mean, Lions probably win. -182 seems right on that money line, but I think the Texans can cover this 3.5 if Collins is ruled in. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, you cannot click that button on Houston until you get the Collins news. And I'm still a little worried, though, because it's a hamstring, and this is a wide receiver that runs 50-yard routes down the field. Like, we could see him get activated and play and be like, all right, Houston's got a shot here. And halfway through the first quarter, it's like, well, Nico Collins is gone, and we're back to normal, like what Houston looked like last week. So I lean Detroit here. I think they can cover the 3.5 rather easily. Their offensive line is going to be able to push Houston backwards. I'm not sure Houston's able to get pressure. It's inside a dome where Goff likes to play, so you don't have to worry about the outside factors. The receivers are going to be open. They're going to be able to run the ball with Gibbs and Monty. I'm not sure Stroud's even going to be able to work on this defense. And they just picked up Za'Darius Smith to bolster their edge rushing. So Detroit's making that Super Bowl run. They're adding pieces. I'm just going to keep riding them, spread. Give me Detroit.
All right. Tyler and I are opposite here. Jamie, break the tie.
Yeah, I kind of actually lean Houston. And I would say this Nico needs to be back. If Nico's not back, I have no interest in Houston. But even like Tyler said, there is obviously an elevated re-injury risk with a soft tissue injury like that against a wide receiver like Nico Collins. But I think that he is insanely valuable for this team and for Stroud. Stroud just has not looked good. The offensive line is an issue, though, for Houston. There's no doubt about it. but I don't think that this pass rush for Detroit, I mean, getting Zadarius Smith, I think definitely helps. But last week, they didn't really get after Love too much. Granted, Packers offensive line is much better than Houston. And Detroit's very good, but I just think that this Houston team with Nico Collins is much better than the Houston team that we've been seeing. And they get a few extra days rest. Playing on Thursday, so a little longer week for them. I lean Houston here. I got Houston about like plus 2.5. So Houston at plus 3.5, I think is a pretty decent bet. And maybe there's just a letdown spot for Detroit. They just had a big game against the division rival in Green Bay on the road. Now they go to Houston, which is still in a dome, which is good for Goff. But also, I wouldn't be surprised to see some points here too if we see Nico get back. The Detroit secondary is just not very good, man. They got a good run defense, no doubt, but I could see Stroud and Nico putting up some points, getting Tank Dell more involved too. But if Nico is out, I want no part of this for sure.
That's another big thing to talk about in this matchup. If Joe Mixon can't run the ball like he's ran for 100 yards in 4 of his 5 games this year, what does Houston's offense even look like?
Yeah. If there's no Nico, I think they're going to be in some trouble. They need a field stretcher. And Tank Dell is a fine receiver, and even Tank Dell with Diggs, I just didn't feel like those two they don't mesh as well as we've seen like last year with Tank and Nico. Nico is a field stretcher. Nico is just very valuable, man. He's a top 5 wide receiver in the league, and it's just that simple. So if no Nico, I'm with you. I want no part of it because I just don't think they're going to be able to run. Although the Packers were able to run pretty efficiently on the Lions too. And Mixon, he looks like one of the best running backs in the league after he did not look very good the last few years in Cincinnati. So I don't know, but we'll see. I am with you. If Nico's out, I struggle to see Houston put up points. If Nico's in, I think this Houston team is going to be able to put up some points.
All right. Well, no play for us regardless. It sounds like Tyler and I are opposite sides, but for the Houston backers, good point. Wait for that injury report. We're just going to go to Jamie on this one because Tyler and I will do a complete breakdown next Monday. But Jamie, real quick, I want to lay it with the Rams on Monday Night Football next week. Where are you at on that one?
Yep, I lean the Rams too. I feel like if people watch this show, they think like Rams might be my second favorite team, which I feel like I back them every single week. But this is a good spot for him, man. I think Puka's going to get back. Obviously, he got ejected last week. He's getting more healthy. Kupp is getting more healthy. Stafford with this team. We'll talk about Stafford here in a bit when we do the quarterback ranking. Stafford with these guys, man, and Sean McVay. Kyron Williams, this is a good offense. The defense still not great. They got a nice little – they squeaked out an overtime win against Seattle last week. But I like the Rams again, man. Give me the Rams.
All right. Tyler, let's do best bets right now. And then, for those who don't care about our rankings, they can tune out. But let's give them the best bet right now, and then we're going to have some fun ranking the quarterbacks in the NFL. Tyler, what's your best bet for this week?
Best bet as a single bet would be Steelers +3, or you could just take the money line. And then fun teaser, be a 3-legger. I know you're only supposed to do 2 legs on this, but I like the plus money. Give me Chargers down to 1.5. Give me Philly down to 1, and give me Steelers up to 9.
That's the teaser. Jamie, your best bet?
San Francisco -5.5. San Francisco is going to smoke them.
All right. Only because those are the only 2 bets I have in right now. I'm going to take the 49ers as well.
There we go.
So we like the Steelers. We like the Niners. Thank you for those of us who don't care. Remember, give us a thumbs up, subscribe, fanspeak.com. All right. How do we want to do this? Who wants to read their rankings first?
I'll go first.
Yeah.
All right. Let's hear it. And
All right.
We've agreed beforehand we're going to keep quiet. So
Like all
watching,
32.
you can see me make faces when Tyler's completely wrong.
All right. So pull out the handy-dandy notepad. At number 1, Patrick Mahomes, of course. Number 2, Josh Allen. Number 3, Lamar Jackson. Number 4, Joe Burrow, which those 4 are pretty easy. Coming in at 5, Matthew Stafford. Coming in at 6, Jalen Hurts. Coming in at 7, Justin Herbert. Coming in at 8, CJ Stroud. Coming in at 9, Brock Purdy. Coming in at 10, Jordan Love. Coming in at 11, Jaden Daniels. 12, Kirk Cousins. 13, Goff. 14, Dak. 15, Kyler. 16, Baker. 17, Rodgers. 18, Trevor Lawrence. 19, Tua. 20, Russell Wilson. Darnold 21, Winston 22, Bo Nix 23, Caleb Williams 24, Geno 25, Flacco 26, Daniel Jones 27, Drake May 28, Derek Carr 29, Bryce Young 30, Mason Rudolph 31, and Gardner Minshew 32.
I love it. Honestly, a lot of similarities. There's a couple of them that we have, some wide discrepancies in. But honestly, for the most part, I mean, we have a few guys that are just like we have the exact same ranking. Honestly, pretty close. I'm interested to see what spread's going to be. I'm honestly surprised that it is that, because this is hard. We talked about earlier, but when I did this exercise, I immediately had empathy for spread. I was like, this is not an easy task, because like where do you rank guys, like Caleb, or like, guys who have underperformed, but you're also like in your head, okay, if he was in a different situation, right? They get rid of Eberflus and Ben Johnson comes there. Are we going to look like fools next year? Caleb Williams is a top 10 quarterback in the league, So it's like it's hard to be objective and look at like the past 9 weeks worth of data, but also try to like contextualize and like look ahead and be like, okay, what could happen if these players got switched? So, but I was honestly surprised. We're very close. Again, we'll realize there's a few guys that we have like 10 spot difference, but for the most part, we're pretty good. We're pretty accurate. I like those rankings.
All right, well, let's hear yours, Jamie. I have the same top 5 as Tyler. I'll let you know that right now.
Okay.
Let's hear yours, and then we can start debating some of these selections.
Okay. 1, Jordan Love. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. All right. 1, Patrick Mahomes, obviously. This is where 2, I have Lamar Jackson. But honestly, if you had Josh Allen, it's fine too. So 2, Lamar Jackson. 3, Josh Allen. 4, Joe Burrow. 5, Justin Herbert. 6, Jordan Love. 7, CJ Stroud. 8, Matthew Stafford. 9, Jalen Hurts. 10, Jared Goff. 11, Jaden Daniels. 12, Trevor Lawrence. 13, Dak Prescott. 14, Tua. 15, Cousins. 16, Kyler. 17, Rodgers. 18, Purdy. 19, Baker. 20, Caleb Williams. 21, Drake May. 22, Sam Darnold. 23, Bo Nix. 24, Geno Smith. 25, Russell Wilson. 26, Derek Carr. 27, Bryce Young. 28, Joe Flacco. 29, Daniel Jones. 30, Jameis Winston. 31, Mason Rudolph. And 32, Gardner Minshew.
We all have the same guy at 32.
I think we all had this. I think we all had the same reasoning for putting him at 32. We went and looked, and the dude can't finish a game the last 3 weeks. He gets yanked, so it's like this dude has to be the last spot.
Yeah, he is guaranteed to be the last. So, all right, what do we think?
Let's go over yours again. How do you put Jordan Love and CJ Stroud above a guy who won the Super Bowl?
Who?
Stafford.
So that's
the one. That's the biggest problem I think I have with yours. You got to move Stafford out. I mean, you got guys that had like 10 good games over a guy that's had an excellent career.
Okay, but we could say that exact same thing, and I'm assuming you have Aaron Rodgers probably in the back half also. Aaron Rodgers won a Super Bowl just as many as Matthew Stafford. He's also won
Super Bowl when like Tyler was 5 years old. I mean, we all know he's not the same player. We can say that Stafford's pretty close.
I think Stafford is still a really strong player, like I just said. I would just take the way I kind of did this is I tried to switch people around. Okay. So if all teams were created equal, and you got to just pick and choose, right? So every team was the 49ers. Who would you rather have on the 49ers? I think Matthew Stafford, great, but you're telling me if CJ Stroud or Jordan Love wasn't on the 49ers, if CJ Stroud or Jordan Love were on the 49ers, they probably won the Super Bowl last year, to be honest. And that's just kind of how I evaluate it. I think, and to be honest with you, I'm kind of surprised. I thought I was kind of high on Matthew Stafford. So I'm honestly so I mean that is fair. But I mean, Aaron Rodgers has won 2 MVPs in the last 4 years, right? So I mean, we
know he's not the same player. He's also coming out the Achilles, and he doesn't have the same mobility that made him so lethal.
Matthew Stafford has no mobility either, although he does a pretty decent job of evading the pack. No doubt he didn't. I mean, Matthew Stafford.
It's not like he downgraded his mobility. I mean, he's the same guy that we saw in Detroit, and Even when they lost their top 2 weapons, he kept that offense humming.
Yeah. I think. I mean, I would be interested. You were surprised when Jordan Love was 6. I'm interested to see because if you have him lower than 8, I'm going to go back to the tape of last week where you said he was top 8. So
I changed it after last week because now
after
the 2 worst interceptions of the whole season belong to the same guy.
Yeah,
and I can't trust the guy. Decision making is so important.
I don't know. Did you watch that one they threw last night, or not last night? The one Darnold threw on Sunday night.
I would say that was a bad one too. The Darnold was a bad one. There's no doubt the decision making with Jordan Love, and I've said this for weeks. And honestly, that's the only reason I didn't put him top 5. To be honest with you, but I look at just pure overall talent. I mean, dude, the dude's got the goods, and yeah, he has he so far this year made some poor decisions. Yes, but we also saw him go through the last 9 games of last year through just 1 interception. Was the best quarterback in the league. I'm giving him a break off that. It's still a young sample. We still have a small sample size with him overall. I'm not again, and I'm also trying to look ahead because what I don't want to do is do what you did and make him the 35th best quarterback in the league and then have egg on my face the next year. So I'm trying to think ahead of what's this gonna look like next year. Okay, so we get that. Anything else? I know you made a face with Trevor Lawrence.
Way too high.
And I knew. Trust me, when I put him there, I knew that was going to be the one that was going to have some issues. Just so I can be clear, I'm saving myself for Ben Johnson goes into Jacksonville next year, and Trevor Lawrence is going to be a top 10 quarterback in the league. I want to look really good right now. All right, so I'm planning ahead. Doug Peterson's a donkey. The Jacksonville Jaguars are donkeys. Did Trevor Lawrence throw a terrible interception to end the game against the Eagles? 100% he did. 100% he did. But you know what? That happens. Mahomes throws bad interceptions too. How many interceptions this year did we see Mahomes just throw that we were just like, what were you throwing to? Yeah. You know, Dak Prescott does the exact same thing. So Dak Prescott and Trevor Lawrence is why I have them right next to each other. And then another one that I know that was just slightly different based off of at least Tyler's was Brock Purdy. And again, my thing is Brock Purdy. Is if Brock Purdy was drafted by the Jets, would we be talking about him? I don't think so. I think that if you're able to put in any of these other quarterbacks, Dak, Trevor Lawrence, Jared Goff, whatever, to the 49ers, that team is objectively better, in my opinion. But I still think
you got to admit, though, he has looked better. Like, he's looked a lot better than expected with all these weapons out. He's carried this offense this year.
I agree. He has.
That's why he's so far up in my rankings. He's proved to me that he is not just the plug and play Kyle Shanahan guy. This guy could actually play ball.
No, I do agree. He has looked better than I thought. But also I think, 18th for a guy that was the last pick in the draft. Pretty good, right? 18th best quarterback in the league, and you're the last pick in the draft a couple years ago. You'll take it, right? But outside of that, I feel like Tyler and I were pretty close with most of everything else. So I'm interested to see what Spread has here.
All right. So in the interest of time, we agreed to no interruptions.
Yep.
During your guys, but I'm going to go ahead and waive that.
Okay.
And for the sake of discussion, you guys are welcome to interrupt at any time.
I'm getting all my revenge right here. He's not getting one ranking out before I cut him off.
Go ahead.
No, I'm messing with you.
No, but because we do need to discuss these things, and you could see that I wanted to jump in there, and you're trying to remember them all. And I should have been writing notes.
Yeah.
So you guys can go ahead and interrupt me, and then when you're doing that, just let me know where they are on your list, and that way we can get some back and forth. Okay. So my top 5 is the same as Tyler's, but I agree with you, right? You want to put Jackson ahead of Allen, whatever. But I just think that Allen is working with less there, which is why I went Mahomes, Allen, Jackson, Burrow. And then I have Stafford at 5, Jamie. He's won the Super Bowl, and he's shown that he can get it done even in a terrible situation. He's got the worst line. Even when Kupp and Nakua went out, he still got things done. So that's why I put Stafford at 5. I put Herbert at 6. I don't know what you guys think about that. Are you guys fine with that?
I have Herbert at 5, so.
Yeah. So we agree that, Herbert's right there. He's knocking on the door to be one of the best. He really just needs some sustained success. Here's where I think that you guys will probably feel a little different than me. I put Jaden Daniels at 7. And when you just look at from the team last year to this year, what has really changed? I know they have better coaches, But to me, he's completely turned that organization around, and he's shown why quarterback is so important in the league. So, your thoughts on me putting Jaden Daniels at 7, Jamie?
Yeah. I mean, I don't think it's terrible because I have him at 11, and I think that's where Tyler had him too. I think we both had him exactly at 11, so it's not too far off. There's not a chance on earth I'm taking Jaden Daniels at this point over CJ Stroud or Jordan Love.
No. Wow.
To me, I just feel like that's a lot of recency bias. I don't know.
You can't trust them off of these couple games spread. Like,
yeah,
everyone wanted to plug Stroud in as a top 5 quarterback last year after like week 8. It's like
100%.
Let's pump the brakes here. Let's make sure he's actually what this is. And this year, like, yeah, he's regressed, but he was never going to play at that high level he was playing last year his whole career.
Yeah.
Are we sure Jaden Daniels is going to play like this his entire career? No.
That's true. And also, they are playing a 4th place schedule. Okay.
Yeah.
But that's where I had him. I hated doing this. I wish Meg was watching right now because she would love to see this egg on my face. Guys, I put Kirk Cousins at number 8.
That's like, you can't. The way I rank it, Cousins, Goff, and Dak all have to be in an order because they all are pretty much the same exact player. They're a game manager. You can't have Kirk any higher than Goff. You can't have. They have to.
You say game manager, but all 3 of those guys have cannons. I mean, Cousins. Say what you want about it. He's not mobile at all. The guy zips the ball.
Okay, but
I mean, Jamarcus Russell had a cannon too. But
yeah, take Goff.
And if he wasn't addicted to drugs, he probably would still.
If you take Goff off of Detroit and put Kirk Cousins there, they're the same team.
Yeah,
it's just
and I probably agree because I have Jared Goff at number 9. So I got them right at the same spot.
In my head, the way that has to work then for your rankings is Dak has to be 10.
No way.
I agree. I agree that they're all close. I think there's like 4 or 5 kind of guys all similar, just like that, who are all basically the same person and are very interchangeable.
I group them into the game manager group. That's what I call them.
There's just no way on earth I'm taking Kirk Cousins over Jordan Love or CJ Stroud.
There's no way I'm taking Kirk Cousins over Brock Purdy.
Right? Are you guys
Brock Purdy?
Okay, so I rank these for this year. I rank these for this year, just winning games this year. I sometimes think that maybe you're taking into account the potential.
Well, I think you just had to contextualize too, because we're talking about like best quarterback. We're not just talking about who has the best numbers through 9 weeks, because a lot of that is dependent on the team
you're on, right?
The injuries. Like CJ Stroud, is CJ Stroud still going to be like this if Nico Collins doesn't get hurt? You know what I mean? And like if you put CJ Stroud on the 49ers, that team is winning a Super Bowl. You know what I mean? That team is the Super Bowl favorite, probably, to be honest with you. It's not a knock on Brock Purdy. CJ Stroud is just insanely talented. You know, like he's just there's just no way I could take Kirk Cousins over CJ Stroud or Jordan Love. But it's all subjective. So
here's one that I really struggled with. Jalen Hurts. I have him at number 10. What do you guys think about that?
I think he's got to be higher than the game manager because of his running ability.
Yeah.
I have him at 9. But like I said, I have him higher than all those guys.
Yeah, you listed Cousins above Hurts. And if both their offensive lines get plagued with injuries, one of those guys can run away and make some plays out of that. The other guy is a statue, and he's going to get mauled the entire game. So one has an extra asset to his game. Yeah, but one needs to be in the perfect situation with an offensive line to protect him to be even able to throw the ball, where the other one could be like, all right, bro, we're going to draft you this shitty team. Like, you got to kind of make this work for a year or two.
Yeah.
All right. And that's fair enough. And we're just doing the discussion here. I got CJ Stroud at 11. I know we already know that you guys think that's too low. I love to see Jamie's face here.
This makes you sick. Didn't Love just smoke old boy too just a couple weeks ago? I'm just saying. Love better be next. CJ Stroud had like 88 yards passing in that game. It's all good though. It's all good. If Jordan Love isn't next and he dropped out of your top, he was just top 8 last week for you, bro.
I know, and then I watched the interception, and I said, I can't trust this guy.
Oh, my
I can't trust this guy to make decisions.
He trusts game managers that won't even air the ball out down the field. He's a coward. He's a coward.
Yes, 100%. This is okay. So who was 12?
Brock Purdy.
Oh my God, brother.
Your thoughts?
You have the best game manager of them all. ranked behind the other game
Managing
managers.
games matters.
He's the best one out of Goff, Cousins, and all of them. He should be ahead of them.
The only reason I didn't was just the body of work. I mean, we've seen Cousins do it in multiple situations. Goff's made a Super Bowl himself. This is his second different offense.
By himself. If you hear that,
What's
Jamie, Goff made a Super Bowl by himself.
No. I didn't mean by himself. I mean, he's already made a Super Bowl, and now he's on his second team, and they are the best team in the division. So
I don't think that's him, though. I think you could drop Kirk Cousins on that team, and you would be saying the same thing. You could put Brock Purdy in that spot. Same thing. Dak, same thing.
Brock Purdy made a Super Bowl also. So
yeah.
Multiple
Sam Darnold, same thing. Like anybody plugged in there.
That. No,
with that offensive line, anyone can stand back there and have time.
Yeah, but Goff's okay. First of all, Goff's got a hose. He throws the ball down the field. He's beautiful.
Brock
deep
Purdy
ball.
doesn't.
I think Goff's got a stronger arm, and I think he's a little more accurate. I think where Purdy gets an edge is mobility. But if you're just talking about standing in the pocket, dropping darts, I mean, Goff. I don't know who's better than Goff. So, all right. Now I've got your guy Jordan Love at 13. What do you think about that, Jamie?
13. Hey, it's not 35. So I guess you made some progress.
Yeah, I
but
moved him up 22 spots. But to be fair, and I'll go ahead and counter you guys now. You guys all talk about situations, right? Oh, well, what, tell me he's not in a beautiful situation. One of the best coaches in the league, Matt LaFleur. And we've already talked about this. One of the deepest receiving cores. I mean, if we want to go, who has the best number 4 receiver in the league? It's the Green Bay Packers. I mean, Dontavian Wicks is the number 2 on 15 teams.
I mean, Dontavian Wicks can't catch a cold right now, but I'm
understand
with
my
you.
point, though, right? Just
skill-wise, yes.
Potential.
The Packers also lead the league in drops. I will sit there and say that I do think that this skill position for the receivers very good. But the reality is they had 6 drops against Detroit. They lead the league, or maybe they're second in the league in drops. So I do think the talent is there, but they're still leading the league in drops. Wicks can't catch a cold, man. I love Wicks. He is talented. He's a great route runner. I'm just sick and tired of watching this dude run around and drop. He dropped a wide open touchdown, right? Well, it was a slightly behind him. Make the catch. Good players make catch when the ball hits their hand. I think this is a massive. I just don't see how you can have Love as top 8 the week prior, and because of one throw, he drops down to 13th. He's playing hurt.
For the content a little bit too. Jamie.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense. That's fair. That's fair. That's fair. I mean, and honestly, every single doctor that I saw online said that Love should not be playing in this game. Every single person.
But durability has to be an issue. If we're going to dock Jaden Daniels and Anthony Richardson, some of these guys for durability, we also do have to have a little bit of concern for Love's durability now too.
I mean, we'll see. I mean, he didn't miss any games last year.
No.
This year, he had a fluke thing that he got hit in the side of the knee, and then his groin thing. And guess what? He tried to play through it, right? Yeah. So, and he did, and he battled. But it was a – go ahead.
I was going to say there's one quarterback on all of our lists from 1 up until about 13 that doesn't have durability issues. Every one of these guys gets hurt. The only guy that actually just keeps going – actually, there might be 2 of them.
Yeah.
It's Mahomes and Allen.
Yeah.
Everybody else on this list has been out for games.
I say Burrow too.
That's a good counter. Yeah. That's a good counter.
Yeah.
All right.
100%.
Number 14, I have Kyler Murray. What do you guys think? Do I have him too high?
I mean, I feel like were you just throwing slander on him a couple weeks ago?
I have him at 15, so
I have him at 16, so it's not a bad.
So yeah, that's not that bad.
It's we're all pretty close.
We're getting to spreads hate rankings now though. Like this is where like certain names are gonna fall down the board because like he's like I like that guy.
Yeah, because you notice there's a Dallas Cowboys quarterback that I haven't mentioned yet. Next, I have Baker Mayfield.
It was this 15.
I have those 2 paired together too. Like Kyler and Baker 15, 16 for me.
Yeah. Where did you have him again, Jamie?
I have him 19, but honestly, I should have him up because I made this before last night, and honestly, last night was impressive. He's playing with nobody. He's playing with nobodies out there against the Chiefs defense, and he's still making plays. So I probably should have him up there into the 15, 16 range.
And this was tough because I feel like I have this man too low. I put Tua next.
Yeah,
I mean, for
I have
all
him at
my talk
14.
about accuracy with Goff and stuff,
He's accurate.
the same thing applies to Tua. So I kind of feel like I undersold him, but I think Tyler said this is where my hate rankings come in. Now I have Dak. How do I have Baker on here twice?
You love Baker. There you go.
I think I moved him up. I put Dak at 17. How bad did I screw that up?
I have him at 14. We have those three different. Like I have Dak, Kyler, Baker. You have Kyler, Baker, Dak.
Where did
And
you
I
have
have-
Dak?
I had Dak at 14.
Where'd you have him, Jamie?
I have him 13. I have Dak, Tua, Kyler.
Okay.
But I mean, they're all those are so hard to choose from. I don't know. You know what I mean? Like Dak, we talk about decision making also. I mean, Dak is definitely was one of the worst decision makers in the league from a quarterback standpoint, man. So, but I agree. I think it's close.
All right. Next, I got Geno Smith above Trevor Lawrence. What do you think of that, Jamie?
There's a
That's
certain name
terrible.
you haven't said yet, and if he's below Geno Smith, then we need to stop it now.
Who?
Rodgers.
Yeah, that's
I do
yeah.
have him lower than Geno Smith.
Hey,
This
but
is just-
he's won a Super Bowl and he's won 2
Have
MVPs
you
in the last
watched
4
Geno
years.
Smith this year?
Yeah, he looked pretty good on Sunday.
Oh my goodness!
But you
Against the
couldn't-
terrible Rams secondary, he
Yeah,
garbage
the
time stuff.
guy-
He
the
does
guy
this
you were
continuously.
beating on the desk to bet against shredded your team,
He
and he's lower on the rankings.
yeah, that's
What is
Geno
happening?
Smith is I think 24th on mine. Geno Smith is who
He's
he is, man.
25th on mine. This dude stinks. He's never been good.
He gets it with this dude stinks. He says, "I love it." No, there's just no doubt he should not be top. He's definitely not better than Aaron Rodgers. You come on. You think if
He's
Geno
not better
Smith
than
At
played
this
on
point
the
in his career, yes, because he can move in the pocket, and Rodgers can't.
He's not better than Trevor Lawrence at this point.
he's definitely
I
not
put
better than
Lawrence
Trevor
right
Lawrence.
behind him.
I think
I got
Russ is
Trevor
better than
Lawrence.
him right now
You have
Russ is
who?
better than
Geno.
yeah. I think they're close. I think they're right next to each other.
All right, where did I have
I think
Russ? So,
I think your boy spread is better than Geno right now. Bo Nix.
Yeah, I have him
Wow.
one spot. I have him one spot ahead.
okay, so there, as much as I've been on Bo Nix, Geno can push the ball down the field. I mean, you talked about Nix's.
I think also though we can't just look at this from like what's been happening through 9 weeks. Bo Nix this is his first 9 games Bo Nix has ever played in his life. You know what I mean? He's going to continue to get better. Whereas like Geno Smith, we just know what he is at this point. So like that's what I did with like Darnold and Geno, and that's what I initially did with Baker, which I probably should move up just a little bit based off of the situation that he had. But it's like we know who these guys are. You know, this isn't their first 9 games. They have a large sample size of them, and if they're just all of a sudden doing pretty okay, there's probably a reason for that. And it's probably not that they just got good in their 7th season in the league, right?
Winston, Geno, Flacco, Carr, and even Darnold to a point all get grouped in this group of we basically suck, but teams can't find quarterbacks, so we still have jobs.
Right.
All right.
I mean, that's true.
All right, I'll keep it moving. I got Rodgers at 21, right below Trevor. And no reaction. Okay. I got Sam Darnold at 22.
I got Sam Darnold at 22 also. There we go.
Got him at 21, so we're right in there.
Yep.
Okay. And I got Russell Wilson at 23.
I have 20. I have 25.
I had 20.
Fair enough. I put Caleb at 24, but that's the one that,
Work
next
that
year
all
at this
without
time.
You could have
I
egg
could
on your
really
face.
stupid. Yeah. But when I made these rankings, it's for the rest of the season. Just
Yeah.
to win a game in 2024, how would I rank you?
Yeah.
Then I put Flacco at 25, Bo Nix at 26, my numbers are sure up. Then I had Drake May. I actually put Justin Fields, even though he's a backup. I put him above all these guys because I would rather have Fields than any of the guys that I'm about to mention. Then I got Fields, Jones, Richardson, Carr, Dalton, Winston, Minshew, Bryce Young. I put Will Levis at 34, AOC at 35 because I had to throw him on there for you, Tyler, and Deshaun Watson at 36.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Drake Mays. I have him at 21. To be honest, I'm
Yeah.
You're talking about a guy being mobile too,
I
getting
have
outside the
I have
pocket.
him at 28, but it was basically the I don't know where to put you ranking. So you're
It's
just
a
going to kind of hang out back here for now.
he's a tough one, but you also think too, like if you're trying to contextualize, like that team sucks. Who's he throwing to? You know,
Yeah.
and probably not a good coach. And he's mobile, man. He really is. Like that's a big plus for that team. But I agree, it's tough when you get to like the Caleb Drakes and Bo Nix. One of these guys is probably going to end up being like a top 10 quarterback at some point, and we're gonna look back and be like, damn, we probably should have higher.
Well,
That's why I
just
tried to keep them
contextualize it,
together.
Let's say it's to win games in 2024. You know.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. Yeah.
All right. Well, that was a lot of fun, guys, and we'll look forward to moving these back. And Jamie, I want to congratulate you on having the 13th best quarterback in the NFL.
That's so bad.
Here's a fun one.
It's so bad.
Best running back in the league.
Ooh.
We're doing that next week.
We might have to, depending on how this goes right here.
I'm going to say Saquon Barkley.
Well, there's one different answer I wasn't expecting.
I mean,
that's Genty.
I'm waiting for Jamie to give his. See if we're
Austin Genty. I mean, that's tough on the top of my head.
It's been the same guy for the last 10 years.
I was gonna say, I would have to say, is it Christian McCaffrey?
No, three different answers. It's King Henry.
That's fine. That's fine. I don't know how I forgot about him. It's hard to argue against him.
The only reason I give Saquon the bump is just the receiving threat.
Yeah, I'll give you that. If we're gonna rank them by football players, those two go ahead of Henry. If we can't throw them the ball and we have to hand it to them, Henry by a mile.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
No, I agree. I mean, Henry might be the greatest running back of all time. If that's how, you know what I mean? If that's how we're looking.
No. Stop. You never heard of a man named Barry Sanders?
Oh, yes. I do know who Barry Sanders is.
And I mean, no one's touching him.
Talking about the guy that plays in Atlanta right now? Who they compare him to?
Bijan? I mean, if we're talking
plays, the announcer's like, this looks like Barry Sanders.
I think Bijan reminds me of Saquon a lot. Did they both go to Penn State? Am I just being stupid there?
No,
Bijan went to Texas.
Yeah.
Okay.
Bijan is. I mean, Derrick Henry though. When you that size with that speed, dude, that guy's a freak, man. I mean, Bo Jackson up there too, but I don't know.
Yeah, the only reason I wouldn't put Bo up there is just the lack of career, right? It's just too short. Yeah.
I mean, Barry Sanders is a short career too, but
yeah. Well, he's had like 9
elite
seasons.
Skill players in Detroit having short careers. Calvin Johnson, Barry Sanders.
Yeah.
I mean, that organization killed you. All right, let's do one more fun one, and then we'll end. Who's the best wide receiver in the league?
Justin Jefferson.
Yeah, Justin Jefferson. Got to.
I was hoping to get some arguments there.
Who you got? Justin Jefferson too?
I mean, who we arguing here? Jamar Chase, his buddy.
Yeah, Jamar Chase is good. AJ Brown is good. I mean, CeeDee Lamb is good. I mean, all those guys are great. But if I'm choosing one, I'm choosing Justin Jefferson.
Yeah, I guess that was easier than I thought.
That dude's a killer, man. I hate the fact that he's on the Vikings and I got to watch Packers play him twice a year. That guy is just when you have Nick Mullins throwing you the ball and Josh Dobbs throwing you the ball, whatever, and you're still just dominating. It's like, dude, at some point, man, it's
the way
it is
the
what
positions kind of died off this year. Who's the best tight end this year?
Brock Bowers.
Ooh, Brock Bowers isn't bad. I kind of would still say George Kittle.
I got him at 2. Give me big long haired fella in San Fran.
Yeah, I'd say George Kittle
I'll give now. You that for the blocking.
Yeah, right now. But if we're talking about future, I mean, honestly, I think if Joe Flacco was the quarterback for the Raiders all year, we'd probably sit there and say Brock Bowers. I bet you Brock Bowers would have broke every single rookie tight end record there possibly was. You know what I mean? Because that would have just been a perfect fit. But George Kittle, man, the blocking, the skill, that he's nasty, man.
All right. Well, that was a fun show, guys. And
save
your documents so we can bring these up at some other time.
100%.
Although we were a lot closer than I thought we would be on a lot of
these. Honestly, we were. When Tyler read through his, I was like, oh, wow, we're actually.
Like 13 to 16, like, what's the difference? Because if we were going to do it like what they mean to the spread, like 13 and 16 is the exact same, right?
100%. Yeah, there's just a few things. Jordan Love way too low in your spread. You're gonna have regret. Come January, we're gonna have a discussion about this, and I think you're not gonna like that 13th ranking. But we'll see. We'll see.
We'll definitely see.
We'll see.
I don't know. Doesn't Lamar lead the league in passing yards right now?
I think so. I think
He's 12-1 to finish the season in the lead.
yeah.
I know that could be a tough one. They could be up and he might miss.
I wonder if they're
That's
if they're factoring in weather and guys like Goff
That
are
could be
going to be able
another
to sit in the dome, and Lamar's going to be playing in the snow, right? And they probably might be factoring in schedule too. I mean, if the Browns get a little better, I mean, those are the best defenses. Is the NFC or AFC North?
Yeah,
so that could be one of the reasons why he's like that. All right, guys, great show. That was a lot of fun. Not as much argument as I thought. You know, I'll have to definitely make it more spicy next time we do one of these lists.
Yeah.
But thank you everybody for watching. Any final thoughts from either of you before I sign this off?
I think it's gonna be a fun week. I think we found some winners, and
just
bet the Jets. Count that money at the end of the week.
No, you guys disgust me.